first is that no one is culture free. America and Americans have a culture. One American may not be like another American, but there are core values and beliefs that permeate the national culture. And these values and beliefs include principles that are rooted in white supremacy. And pretending that there is such thing as color blindness puts us in this default of operating in a way that perpetuates this white supremacy, which is not only socially accepted, but socially enforced.
And all of those pressures, we remove them from their community, their schools, and then they either hear too much about how awful their parents are or too little about who their parents are.
But two, it also ignores all of the qualitative studies that have been done for decades that have documented the experiences of parents in the system, particularly Black parents, who have given their thoughts and their testimonies about how racism has impacted them in the system. So what we've seen is research used as a form of oppression in and of itself by saying that research that highlights the voices and experience of parents are not important. Research that shows parents' experiences of racism is not important, and we shouldn't be paying attention to that. And it's also really important to point out that statistically, we really can't separate between poverty and race because of the way that poverty has been racialized over the years. The system, society, treats poor Black mothers very differently than it treats poor white mothers.
We know, we have evidence that financial help goes a long way. Why don't we do that? Why as a society do we not invest in that? Why are we asking parents to find jobs, well-paying jobs that don't exist in the community? Why are we asking parents to find housing that isn't affordable or healthy when we know that doesn't exist, right? So it's this concept of we're blaming individual families for these larger social problems that we need to recognize.
So when you tell me, and I know they don't mean it in a mean way, but when you tell me you don't see color, you don't see the best part of me.
About giving them that space. I'm going to say that. So I'm going to say advocacy and support is huge.
This new term that a lot of people are throwing around is allyship. What does it mean to be an ally? And I say, I come from a family where my brother's trans, my sister was lesbian, my mom was two-spirited. Now, does that mean that I'm an ally to the LGBTQI2 community because of my proximity? What have I sacrificed for that community? What have I given up? What felt hard for me in order to progress the success of that community?
You are at the first ever statewide Kansas Racial Equity Collaborative Symposium.
Healthy families are a shared goal and vision for all of us.
It truly has been a collaborative effort between three very different entities. I have not previously been in a space working so closely with a faith-based organization, DCF, and a research university, and it has been amazing.
It's not just a learning event. This was about action. So what are you going to take away?
We're in a good place where we recognize, we acknowledge the hardship. We know how tough the road is, but we're hopeful enough to still be able to imagine something different.
And not supporting. And we did a study in an urban community in Kansas where we talked to Black parents and community members, and they discussed how they see the child welfare system as child snatchers and destroying their family and community. And an example of the reporting not supporting actually came from Child Protective Service workers who were telling us about schools calling because a Black mother was late to pick up their kids, 15 minutes late, and they're hotlining. They're not finding a way to support. They're hotlining for something like that small.
So you've heard lots of names, right? We incorporated lots of other professionals in the field and people doing this work as we've come along this learning journey. Absolutely. absolutely knowing that not everybody is going to agree on the solutions. Everybody that we've included agrees that there's a problem. This needs to change, but not everybody agreed on the solution. And so I just wanted to point that out, that we were pretty intentional about that, because we realized that change happens when you hear different opinions. You need to actually be challenged in what you think. And so we really wanted to do that with the speakers that we brought in, the content that we provided.
To Sarah.
My word is hope. It brings me so much hope to look at the the participant count and see that there are 51 people in this room and participating and engaging with us today. So thank you all for being here and giving me hope. Chanel, what is your word?
My word is ready. I am ready to begin. I'm ready to begin this work and all that it means.
They weren't the ones who physically removed their children from the home, feeling like they have to, we go back to many people noted, feeling like you have to watch every word or everything that you say because they can feel very judged in that setting. They don't know these foster folks, and now they're within a system that removed their family and caused harm, and so thinking about, like, is this practice of icebreakers, is it really being supportive? And is it really being supportive to where we're seeing the most disproportionalities and disparities with Black, Indigenous, and other families of color? So really thinking about, maybe intention, well intention, but what is that impact? And one of the things that I always ask myself, good intention doesn't always mean impact, right? Like, we can be as well-intentioned as we want to be, but that impact and that ways that contributes to negative and harmful and violent things can still be very true. Having to listen to that and bring families into that conversation, and really centering their lived experiences and what they say they need, not what we think they need, right? That's another way of how things can turn from support to harm very quickly.
There was just, we talked about all kinds of things. We did finally find a relative, so we could place with a relative in the same town, stay in the same schools. But my vow to never do another removal again did not last 24 hours.
We are about to engage in courageous, collaborative conversation. And I am Chanel Dupree.
I am Brandy Turner.
My name is Abby Fry.
My name is Ashley Smith.
I'm Becky Aiken.
My name is Kalechi Wright.
My name is Pega Naomi Jimenez.
My name is Sarah McCall.
So that we felt we needed to incorporate was work that other folks were doing.
Kalechi and Becky, can you share with everyone the grant KU obtained and the specific work within the federal grant regarding racial equity work?
Thank you, Brandy. The grant is called Kansas Strong for Children and Families, and it's under a federal initiative known as the Strengthening Child Welfare Systems and Outcomes. And it's a 5-year grant that started in 2018, so it'll go until 2023. And we've been just really privileged to receive it and to work with many different partners in Kansas.
One of the biggest portions that I had the privilege of working with Dr. Aiken in is an institutional analysis focused on addressing the racial disproportionalities that the data showed was prevalent in Wyandotte County.
Hi, Dr. Boss. Hi. So can you tell us how KVC is supporting racial equity advancement in child welfare?
Yes, I am really proud of the work that we're doing to support racial equity and advancement. One of the things that we have been doing as part of that group, and in addition to, is really seeking feedback from our staff and from our clients about what we're doing right and what we're getting wrong. And so on our satisfaction survey to all clients, we asked specifically about how good of a job or not our agency does in understanding the lived experience and the culture of each family that we serve, so that families have an anonymous way to give us feedback about what we're getting right and getting wrong.
Alexandria, can you talk about how you and your organization are working to support racial equity advancement for families?
Yeah, so I can touch on the organization first. So Culture Creations works to build equity in the well-being of foster youth through advocacy, culture affirming self-care, and preparation beyond a life of foster care. So we work with young people who are youth of color between the ages of 16 and 21. And when I say youth of color, I mean Black and brown youth. Things like I remember plenty of times growing up, I had workers who allowed foster parents to shave my hair off, or just didn't know how to take care of me, or making sure that I had lotion so I didn't look ashy. So we're doing a lot of those things of like letting young people know, but also the advocacy part to make sure they know like you belong at the table.